Well, still with our topic of discussion, I still have my two guests here discussing the economic impacts of climate change on the economy, food security, nutrition, and the well-being of the people and society. And like I said, my two guests are coming in from Climate Change Action East Africa. I do have the team lead, Climate Change Action East Africa, that is Rabbi Ronald, the gentleman next to me. And then at the extreme end, I do have Mawanda Derek, the Director Projects Climate Change Action East Africa. And I will kick off with Ronald again. I need to understand more from the expo. What is the theme of the expo, and what do you expect to, which people do you expect on board this time around?
The theme is linking climate change, food security, nutrition, and well-being. It is very important that these things work together. If we don't address climate change, we will not be addressing food security.
Okay.
If we don't address food security, we will not talk about nutrition. And when people are malnutrited, they will not be well. So this is the theme that is the key for the symposium and the expo. During the expo, we are bringing in technologies that helps to save the situation. We are also promoting knowledge by the indigenous people, indigenous foods, which has been able to create a balance for Uganda's food security needs. You find that there are about 17 different indigenous foods that have been there for a long time. And these foods are relevant to us now than even before. Because in some countries, like Kenya, any increase on the price of corn, of maize, brings a disaster. Government intervenes. In Uganda, we don't. Because we have other different foods eaten from different regions in Uganda that they are eaten by almost everybody. So when there is a problem with the corn production, we eat millet. When there is a problem with millet, then they have bananas. There we have the potatoes. So these indigenous foods are going to be promoted, and that's why we have a very, very big focus on women who produce the food and the small-scale farmers.
All right. I wanted to know, Mr. Derek here, is it the first time we're having the expo? Because you mentioned you're planning to have this for years to come, but I would wish to understand, is it the first time you've had the expo, or you've been having similar discussions before, or similar engagements with stakeholders before?
Yes, the expo for this particular one is the first in Africa, or East Africa, in particular Uganda. But we've been carrying and conducting expos globally before. We didn't do enough maybe background introductions, but we've done some in Asia, we've done some in Finland, some in Canada. So until we said no, let's now zoom in our own local community. So for East African case, this is the first of its nature. Yes.
So you intend to have it for all this time, or is it a one-time thing, or you are planning to have it annually?
Like you see, I would like to shed a light on our partnership with the International University of East Africa and why.
Okay.
This is a 5-year master plan where we shall be having an expo starting with Uganda. Next year we can do Kenya. The next year we do Tanzania, and we'll be rotating until we finish all the East African countries. But the beauty is, it will be repeating in the country all the time. We do in Uganda 2022, we go to Kenya 2023, but also we have another one here. So that's the plan, that we keep rotating until we finish the region and bring all stakeholders on board. The civil society, the government, the development partners, the communities, the business community, everybody. We need to have an aggressive campaign. Yes. So,
and back to Ronald here, who is supposed to attend this type of, is it open to everyone, or you have specific people you're targeting?
Now, it's broken up in 5-6 different sectors. We have the academia, the researchers, the specialists, the climatologists. We have central government, central and local government, policymakers, and legislators. We have the civil society and development partners. We have the private sector. We have the diplomatic missions, We have innovators, agriculturists, business community, and the general public.
Okay.
For us to build this platform, we need everybody to come. I'll give an example. Government has 150 RDCs, resident district commissioners.
Okay.
These are the people who are supposed to look at government programs. They should be there.
Okay.
We have 150 district environmental officers, 150 district education officers, 150 district veterinary officers. These are people who are supposed to push government programs in the different districts. So just from that angle alone, we have about 600 people from government who are supposed to be there,
Okay.
people of concern. Then we have the universities. We have partnered with the University of East Africa because it has shown us over the years that they are innovative. I wouldn't talk about what I don't know, but they have put up a tractor that does not use diesel.
Okay.
They have put up a bike that doesn't use petrol. So it means that they are moving at the speed at which we are moving.
Okay.
If we can decongest Kampala, but also use means that do not put the emissions up, we are on the right goal. If government of Uganda removes the taxes off the gas tanks and empower the business community that can produce tanks in a very at a very high speed, this topic will not be discussed in 5 years, because every household will be able to afford a gas tank, cook, and does not cut a tree.
Sure. Okay. And now let's get into more from Mr. Derrick in here. Let's also now focus on the activities that will be happening, the expo. What are some of those activities that you will be having, these activations? What will be done by, for example, the people who will be in there, and then also you who have organized it?
Like we said before, it's a 3 days event.
Okay.
From the 14th, 15th, and the 16th of October.
Okay.
In these 3 days, every day has a schedule and a detailed activity. There is one wing that is for exhibitions.
Okay.
And there is another wing that's running for the symposium. And there are going to be other side events, like with the Ministry of Energy for renewable bit of it, showcasing. There are special pavilions for innovations, such that somebody can understand, if I'm into this particular business, how do I work with solar? How do I work with this? How do I save nature? What innovations are there? So we have a lined up exhibitors that have confirmed to come and showcase what they have, not only from Uganda, even at the regional level. We've partnered with our colleagues in Kenya and in Tanzania and in Rwanda also. Currently there is the ongoing expo in Rwanda now.
Okay.
So we foresee a very, very successful expo.
All right, and now lastly, Mr. Rabbi Ronald, as we're summing up, let's look at the benefits that will be coming up from this particular expo as we are winding up with our discussion.
Thought leadership,
Okay.
so that we empower our leaders to make the right decisions at this time of need. It's very, very important
Okay.
that the leaders under the different classes, from community leaders to our members of parliament, the decision makers in the Ministry of Finance, to development partners who want to focus on supporting us, we all have to be on the same page to solve this problem. They might have the money, but they may not have the projects that are needed to help us avert hunger and make us move forward. That's why we are saying we want a long-term partnership with whoever we are dealing with.
Okay.
We are not a one-off thing. We want to come up with tangible results. I want the grandchildren of my children to enjoy the fruits that were planted by me at this time. And that is what everybody should walk out with.
All right. Mr. Derrick Mawanda, your parting shots as we are winding up with our discussion.
Well, the most important thing is that let's all join in. We invite you, our partners. We invite you, our small-scale hold farmers, the financial institutions, send in your alcohol for abstracts. We still have about 5 weeks to the date. So in the remaining 5 weeks, if we drum support, let's come in numbers. Let's come in big numbers and exhibit. Even if you don't have anything to exhibit, come and learn. Because learning is the best. You can never stop learning.
True.
You don't know what is in the next door. So if you come in, you'll really get the best of your value.
Okay.
Yes.
And then Ronald, your parting shots as well.
Well, I just have to get back the words that two great Africans said. Bishop Desmond Tutu said last year, 25 years ago, people could not be excused for not knowing or doing much about climate change. Today, we have no excuse. The other one says, from the late Kofi Annan, if we get our culture right, where most of the people now are working, not only would it help boost development, but we will be secure in terms of food and nutrition, and then we'll be able to move forward and do other areas.
All right, and gentlemen, many thanks for joining us this morning. It has actually been a very good discussion regarding climate change. And for the viewers out there, these are things, or these are topics that you'll definitely need to be more aware of. I've been having two gentlemen from the Climate Change Action East Africa. The team leader is Ronald Rabai. Then Derek Mawanda is the Director of Projects Climate Change Action East Africa. And speaking of climate change, you get to realize if you're more aware of it, we need to address matters that will definitely affect the future generations to come. It may not be you, but then the children or your grandchildren may be affected by the economic activities that you're doing or the human activities that you're doing that will affect climate. And this brings us to the end of our topic of discussion. Not only that, but also bringing us to the end of Smart Means Business this very week. It is 9th September. It is a Friday, another day for you to at least go out and conquer the business world. Jerome Paul Sonko, earlier on we had Barija Andrew taking you through, and till Monday we shall definitely be in there for you. Coming up after, we'll be having Financial Markets with Anthony Sebale. Later on, Yugi Tukole with Fred Makuya, and then Skill Up with Naime Mutumba, Jinkolila with Hassan Duga. Tonight at 7 p.m. is Farm Smart, and you'll definitely be getting more details regarding agriculture and the business world in that sector as well. I leave you with the SMB No Comment. Have a blessed day. Good morning.
Pleasure.
We got money from Warim amounting to 490 million. We were paying, but from nowhere, they started complaining that we're not paying well. But by the time they started complaining, we had paid to the tune of 364 million out of the 490. This is a revolving fund which the president gave us. We knew what to pay back. But instead of them calling us, we sit and discuss. They decided to take us to courts of law. Some of us were imprisoned. That's why I'm asking, where was Wumura when Warim was messing up circles? They talked about forming smaller circles. In fact, a circle within a circle. It is Warim that has been behind this. You find in Entebbe a small area like that. We have Entebbe Municipal Teachers Circle. Now we have Lake Victoria Circle within Entebbe. And it is Warim that has been behind this. The chairperson in particular, Bwana Stephen. So when I begin producing sweeping words like that, I have no kind of words for Warim. They have messed up the primary circles. They have imprisoned the teachers. They have enchanted the teachers. Teachers are just on the run. When they see Warim Circle, it is like they sing a nightmare. In Uganda, they say, Echiroto Chantisa. Warim is Echiroto Chantisa to the teachers. So from here, I'm saying, Wumura should first regulate Warim before they come to us. What they are doing is exceedingly okay. We need to put things right. But let Umura help Walim to help us. Because if this law came into force in 2016, Umura is coming up now, what were they doing? In fact, if I had known about Walim being behind this, I wouldn't have turned up. But from nowhere, they show up at the late hour. I saw that general manager showing up. I have no kind words for her because I was put in prison because of those guys. So I have no kind words for Walim. How do they say we gave when they were the ones who accessed the names, the details of our clients and started deducting money? Up to now, we have a lot of money we are demanding from them that they have never remitted on our account.
I want to understand, which money are you demanding them now? How much money, what kind of money is that?
Our model of recovery was savings. And they came up with a code to recover money on behalf of the SACCO. They were meant to remit this money on the primary SACCO account. They were remitting very well, but time came when they stopped. I know when you write to them wanting to access those documents, they don't give you the documents. There are times when you write to them, you take a letter to them, they don't receive. But when they write to you, they want you to receive. Is that professional? It is not. So, Walim has to do a lot. I'm not surprised they lost the case, much as the manager is denying they didn't lose the case. I'm not surprised they lost the case. But if they lost the case, that is well and good. And they have a price to pay for some of us whose names they tarnished in the press. They wrote against me in the papers that I withdrew 490 million to marry women. I have that record. So, they also have legal implications they are going to face as regards some of us. Yeah.